So, first off, welcome everyone. Today we're going to talk about a simple and realistic way that service businesses can create a steady flow of new customers every month without the need to rely on a marketing agency. This is not going to be a session about viral marketing, complicated funnels, or spending thousands of dollars on ads. Most small service businesses do not need more random marketing activity. They need a repeatable system that keeps them visible, helps people trust them, and makes it easier for interested customers to take the next step. By the end of this session, the goal is for you to understand what actually drives new local customers, where most businesses lose out on opportunities, and how you can build a simple monthly growth system that is manageable even with a small team. Going to give you all a quick overview of how this is going to run so you know exactly what you'll get out of this. So first I'll walk through the real problem, right? Why most service businesses struggle to get consistent customers. Usually not what people think for what it's worth. Then I'll go ahead and break down a simple system that you can use to generate about 5 to 10 new customers per month without relying on an agency or anything overly complex. From there, I'll show you what the actual solution looks like in practice, not theory, but how this plays out day to day. We'll also touch on how to automate much of what we're going to talk about today, so it's not something you have to manually manage all the time. And then I'll quickly recap everything so it's clear and actionable for you all on the call here today. We will leave time for Q&A as well. And finally, I'll show you and just give you some insight into what the next steps look like if you would like some assistance in implementing this process. Let me start by just giving myself a quick introduction here. In terms of who I am, my name is Logan. I work on the sales team at Craftify AI, and I've spent my career in software and professional services working closely with business owners like all of you to really help them build and scale their revenue pipelines. And my focus is on how marketing, systems, and sales come together to drive real repeatable growth, which is why I'm so excited and enthusiastic about what Craftify is doing in particular. And I'm very happy to talk you all through some of these things today. I'd also like to introduce my partner, Armand, who is the founder of Craftify AI. And for over 20 years, Armand has worked in tech and business growth, including leading teams at companies like Shopify and Realtor.com, and has overall just spent a lot of time working with small business owners. After having had numerous conversations with Armand, working with him closely, seeing those challenges up close is what really inspired him to conceptualize Craftify AI, which really is just a platform designed with the sole purpose of helping businesses strengthen their marketing and sales efforts using AI in a way that's actually practical, which again, we're thrilled to talk to you all about today. Armand's going to jump in towards the end for Q&A, and he'll be active in the chat as well for anyone who has any questions for our team, just a FYI for everybody here today. So let's go ahead and get started with what the real issue actually is. Most service businesses, like all of you, are not lazy about marketing. You're just very, very busy. A contractor, wellness clinic, travel agency, any type of local service provider usually has more than enough to deal with already. They're serving customers, managing schedules, answering calls, handling quotes, solving problems on the go, and are really just focused on keeping the business afloat. So what happens as a result of that is marketing becomes something that only happens when time allows for it to happen. Maybe you post on social media once in a while, whatever that means. Maybe you ask for reviews when you remember to solicit them. Maybe you follow up on your outstanding quotes simply when you have a second when things are slow, right? The issue is not that you're not doing anything. The issue is that there's no repeatable system in place. And when there's no system, the business becomes too dependent on referrals, word of mouth, or occasional inconsistent bursts of marketing efforts. Let's take a look at what usually happens in a typical service business from the hundreds that we've worked with. A lead comes in, maybe through Google, maybe a referral, maybe a form. The reply is delayed, not because you don't care, but because you're busy, right? You're on a job with a client, you're handling something else. And then the quote goes out, and maybe there's a follow-up, maybe there isn't. And if there is, there's no consistency as a part of this process here. And at that point, a lot of potential customers simply just drop off. If they do move forward and become a customer, the job gets done, but then nothing really happens after that. There's no review request. You miss out on social proof. There's no referral ask, so you miss out on easy new business. And there's no real system to stay in touch, so the customer just disappears. So even though you're putting in the work to get attention, you're leaking opportunities at every stage of the process. This is why it feels like you're always having to start from scratch. So now we probably have a good idea into what the problem itself looks like, right? Let's now take this in a slightly more positive direction and talk about the solution and really how simple this concept distilled down is. For a small service business, growth usually originates from four main things. First, people need to find you. That's visibility. Second, they need to trust you enough to reach out. That's trust. Third, once they reach out, you need to turn more of those inquiries into paying customers. That is conversion, right? And fourth, after you serve someone, you need a way to bring them back or encourage them to refer others. That is repeat and referral. This is the system. Simple as that. If you approve or improve, I should say, on all four areas, even a little bit, the business can start getting more consistent results, will start getting more consistent results without any marketing expertise required whatsoever. And so why don't we start with the first part of what I said, right? Getting found locally. For service businesses, most customers are not searching for your brand name in particular. They're searching for the problem that they have, right? They may search emergency plumber near me. I need a travel agent uh, in my city who I'm looking for help planning my next trip on. It's family dentist, nail spa near me, et cetera, et cetera. And so the question becomes for these people, when someone is searching for the service that you provide in your area, do you show up, right? And if you do show up, do you look like a business that they can trust? Local customers usually discover service businesses in a few predictable places. Google search and Google Maps are very important. Reviews matter because people want reassurance before they contact you. Your website matters because it gives people confidence that you're real, professional, and related to the need at hand. Social media may not be the first place that someone finds you, but it does help create trust and credibility when people check you out, simply put. Referrals are very powerful, but even referred customers often are still going to look you up online just to see what's going on with your brand. What are people who are presently using you saying, either via Google reviews, on your website, on your social media platform, so on and so forth. So local marketing is not about being everywhere randomly. It's about showing up clearly in the places that people already are looking when they need your service or soliciting your service. For many service businesses, the Google Business Profile is almost as if a second homepage, right? A potential customer may see your Google profile before they even visit your website. That profile needs to quickly answer a few basic questions. One, what services do you offer? Two, what areas do you offer those services in? Three, do you look active? Four, do you have any recent reviews that I can reference? Are there photos? Right? Is it easy to call you or visit your website? And the list goes on. Many businesses set up their profile once and forget about it. But Google visibility is not just about having a profile, it's about keeping it complete, active, and trustworthy. This does not mean necessarily that you need to be posting every single day, but you should keep your services, photos, reviews, and updates fresh. A lot of small service businesses make one common mistake, which is they put all of their services on one general page. But customers search for very specific needs. They do not always search for your generalized category. They search for the exact service that they need. If you're an HVAC business, AC repair and furnace installation should probably have their own distinct pages. If you're a cabinet maker, custom kitchen cabinets and built-in closets could be separate pages. If you're a medical spa or wellness clinic, each major treatment or service that you provide should be easy to find. And again, our goal would be to keep them distinct. Each page should clearly define the service, who it's for, what the process looks like, and how to engage in the next step, whether that's booking with you, giving you a call, purchasing a product off of your website, and so on and so forth. This will help customers understand you faster, and it also gives search engines more specific information about what it is that you do. A lot of small service-based businesses make one common mistake, and this again really is just what it distills down to. Moving on to the next slide here, content does not necessarily have to be complicated as well, which is a very important point for us to touch on. Most service businesses already have useful information, and the problem is they do not turn that knowledge into content consistently. You're able to create simple posts around common questions the customers ask. You can share seasonal reminders. You can explain how to prepare for a service. You can show before and after work. You can also talk about common mistakes that people might make. For example, what that looks like in practice again is an HVAC business can post about when to service a furnace. A dental office can explain what to expect during a cleaning. A cabinet maker can show a kitchen transformation, and a wellness clinic can explain how you're going to differ and choose the right treatment for what it is you need done. The goal is not necessarily to become, an influencer with 20 million followers on Instagram. The goal is to help potential customers see that you are active, knowledgeable, and trustworthy. And now, kind of as a segue into the next point, let's talk about trust, right, and credibility. Getting found is really only the first step. A customer might see 3, 5, 10 businesses that perhaps offer a similar service. And the next question is, why should they choose you out of all the businesses that exist out there? Most people, unsurprisingly, make that decision before they ever engage with your business. They look at your reviews. They look at your website. They look at photos. They look at whether your business feels active and credible. So your marketing efforts need to reduce that level of uncertainty. Trust is built through small incremental signals. Recent reviews tell customers other people had a good experience. Real photos show that you actually do the work. Clear service descriptions help people understand if you can solve their problem, and helpful explanations make you feel all the more professional. Fast response matters, or a fast response should matter, because customers often are contacting more than one business. And the truth of the matter is, if you respond quickly and clearly, you immediately feel more reliable. And again, you're increasing your level of credibility. That customer naturally becomes more inclined to engage with your business. We've all been there, right? We can all speak about this from personal experience. A professional follow-up, adding to that point, also does matter quite a bit. Sometimes the business that wins is not the cheapest or even the most well-known. It is the one that makes the customer feel understood and taken care of. Reviews are one of the strongest local marketing assets that a service business has at their disposal. And when people are choosing a local business, they'd like reassurance. Reviews reduce the feeling of risk. They show that other people trusted you and had a good experience. The challenge is that happy customers often do not leave reviews unless they're asked or they're prompted to do so. Which makes sense. Again, most people are quite busy. They may be satisfied, but they then move on with their day. And that's why review collection should not be done at random intervals with select groups of people. It should be a mandated part of your process. And there's a period at the end of that sentence. When the job is complete and the customer is happy, there should be a simple way for you to request that type of a testimonial, review, referral, etc. The previous referral webinar that we'll link as well, maybe in the comments, used and spoke about the same topic at great length. Your best marketing asset is often already there, your past customers. But without a system, that asset is totally underused and unreliable. This right here is a great image of what a review system at your business could look like. So, again, first the job is completed, then the customer receives a thank you message. After that, they receive a review request with a direct link to do just that. If they don't respond, because again, life happens, they're busy, you send one polite reminder. And then when you receive a strong review, you can then reuse that same testimonial in future marketing. That alone can do wonders for your website, your social posts, your emails, and your sales conversations, most importantly. This is one of those activities that sounds small, but over time, it compounds significantly. If you collect reviews every month, your business starts to look stronger and more trustworthy compared to competitors who are not doing that. The next part of the conversation here is the actual conversion itself, right? And a lot of businesses are under the impression that they need more leads, but sometimes the faster win is to convert more of the leads that they already have. If 10 people contact your business and only 2 out of the 10 become customers, improving your response and follow-up could make a huge monumental difference without increasing your ad budget. This is especially important for service-based businesses because customers often are contacting multiple vendors, right? The business, once again, that responds clearly and follows up well with those prospects has a major competitive advantage, and it's not something that most of them are doing today. Next up, super important topic to talk about is speed does matter, right? And I really want to emphasize this point. When a customer reaches out to your business, they're actively trying to solve a problem right then in that moment. If you wait too long at all, they're simply going to contact somebody else or book with the first business that gives them the confidence. A good response does not need to be long or complicated once again. It simply needs to be clear, helpful, and easy for them to act on. For example, hey, thanks so much for reaching out. This is definitely something we can help with. Can you send a photo or can you answer these 2 quick questions? We'll do the rest from there. We can also, book a time to talk about this further. The overall goal here is to reduce friction. You don't want to make the customer work too hard in order for them to figure out what that next step looks like. So for instance, once again, many businesses, they send a quote and then they wait. But again, customers get busy, they compare options, they then forget. They may have questions, but not take the time to ask those questions. And that is why follow-up really truly does matter. You don't need to pressure people. You simply need to be helpful and present. On day 0, we send the quote clearly. On day 2, simple check-in. On day 7, maybe we send a helpful reminder or answer a common question. On day 14, we send one final polite follow-up to that prospect. This alone does heaps and bounds for increasing your conversion rate because, again, most of your competitors, based on all the data that we have access to, are not following any process where they're following up in a professional manner. A lot of customer communication fails because the next step also was not obvious, right? The customer receives a quote, but they're not sure what to do with said quote, right? And this sounds a little bit surprising and super obvious, but again, this is what all the data that we have access to reflects. They get a message, but they don't know what information you need, right? They visit the website, but there's no real clear call to action on your website for how they should even book with you. Every important message should make the next step clear. This is true for your website, your emails, your quote follow-up, your review requests, and your social posts. If the goal is more customers than increasing your conversion rate, you don't want to ask, how do we get more attention? You really should be asking, where are people getting confused, waiting, or dropping off as they are engaging? I'd like to now kind of shift into a part of growth that many businesses underleverage, which again is their past customers. And a past customer already knows you, they already trusted you. If they had a good experience, they're more likely to come back, refer somebody else, or leave a review. But if you never stay in touch, you're relying on memory, and people forget that's a dangerous game to play, as I'm sure everybody on this webinar today can relate to. Most service businesses, and this is proven, already have a valuable audience to speak to, right? Again, past customers, happy customers, people who requested quotes, people who asked questions but never booked, referral partners, local businesses that serve a similar audience. The issue is that information often lives in different places. It might be in an email, phone contacts, spreadsheets, notebooks, invoices, or somebody's memory. If you organize these contacts, you're able to do more with them. You can send helpful reminders, you can solicit reviews, you can follow up on old quotes, you can create seasonal campaigns, you can identify who is most likely to refer somebody else. This is why even a lightweight CRM or a contact management system can be extraordinarily powerful for small businesses. And we'll talk about this more in a little bit here, but Craftify AI's feature set includes a mini CRM for, again, what I'm talking about, importing contacts, tagging customers, tracking interactions, and supporting segmentation and automation, which again, we will circle back to in a couple of minutes here. The point I'm trying to make here is you don't need to send constant marketing messages. A lot of times, service businesses get this intertwined with what the proper and correct approach should be. For many service businesses, one simple, succinct, helpful message per month is already more consistent, far more consistent than what they're doing today. The message can be educational, it can be seasonal, it can simply remind people about maintenance, it can showcase a recent project, or it can solicit referrals in a polite way. And so in practice, a dentist might send a reminder about using benefits before year end. An HVAC company might send a furnace maintenance reminder before winter. A cabinet maker might send a project story showing a before and after transformation for a renovation that he or she did. The key here is to stay useful and top of mind. Referrals are, as we've said endlessly throughout our time today, extraordinarily powerful, but most businesses handle them passively. They hope happy customers will remember to refer them. Some will, but many won't. A referral system does not need to be complicated. You ask simply at the right time, usually after a positive experience. You make it easy by giving people a simple message or a link to share. You remind occasionally, not aggressively. And when somebody does refer you, you thank them, right? And the biggest mistake is assuming that good work automatically creates referrals. We run into this constantly. Good work creates the opportunity of a referral. And a system in place that's automated helps turn that possibility into a real action. And this really is where everything kind of ties in together. Every month, the business should have a simple growth rhythm that's identifiable. Publish some helpful local content. Ask your recent customers for reviews. Follow up on open quotes. Send one useful email or message to past customers to check what worked and then repeat what's working. This is not glamorous, but it is realistic. And the businesses that win locally are often not focused solely on one amazing campaign. They are doing the basics more consistently than their competitors are. When we say 5 to 10 new customers per month, it does not mean all of them need to come from one simple channel. In fact, it's far healthier if they come from multiple sources. Maybe 2 come from Google, 2 are sourced from your review or referral campaigns, 2 come from a stronger code follow-up system, 2 come from a past customer outreach, right? Maybe the rest is from local content partnerships or small ad campaigns, and the list goes on. This is going to make, without a doubt, growth feel far more achievable. You're not asking one channel to do all of the work. You're simply improving the whole system. That is the distinction between random marketing and a system that's growth orientated. And so now, let's kind of shift into a little bit about how AI is going to impact and come into play here. AI is not magic. I know a lot of people might be under the impression that it is, and it does not replace your judgment, but it can help with the repetitive work that makes this whole system hard to maintain. In the previous AI-focused webinar, we laid out a simple distinction. AI is useful today for things like content drafting, follow-up automation, review requests, basic data analysis, and repetitive administrative tasks. Honestly, though, it's still overhyped when people expect it to fully replace staff, make complex judgment calls, or create one-click business growth. It's really just not where it's at this point in time. And the same idea applies here. Further to that, AI is most helpful when it supports consistency. It can help you draft social posts, emails, website copy, and even review request messages. It can help you come up with local content ideas tied to your services and seasons. And it can help organize contacts and support campaigns. It can also reduce the blank page problem that we talked about, right? So again, many business owners know they should send an email or post something, but they don't know what to write. AI can simply create the first draft, and then you can review yourself and adjust it from there. The point here is not to remove the human. The point is to make the work easier to start and easier to repeat. And Craftify AI was designed around this idea, an all-in-one AI marketing tool for small service providers that help with local marketing while reducing time, cost, and tool fragmentation. There are also places where you should, without a doubt, exercise some pretty extreme caution. AI should not be making, final pricing decisions for your business. It should not make technical judgments that require professional expertise, and it should definitely not promise something to a customer without your express review and approval. And for service businesses, trust, as we've said endlessly, definitely does matter. If an AI generated message is wrong, too generic, or promises something that you simply can't deliver on, it can hurt the customer relationship. So the best model is to keep it simple. AI drafts, organizes, suggests, and reminds. The human in that process reviews, approves it, and makes the final decision. That is a practical and very safe way to use AI in small business marketing. This slide does a good job of outlining what this can look like in practice. But again, a new customer is added to your contact list. After the service is complete, a review request is sent. If the customer does not respond, a reminder can be scheduled. The customer can also be added to a past customer segment. Later, they can receive a monthly helpful message, seasonal reminder, or referral request. At the same time, AI can help draft related social posts or email content. Over time, you're able to see what people open, click, respond to, or simply ignore. This is how marketing becomes less random when the work starts to connect all together. Another common mistake that we frequently run into and advise clients on is trying too many things at once, right? A business might try Facebook ads 1 month and then they stop. Then they try posting on Instagram, and then they try an email campaign, and then they try making adjustments to the website, and then they stop because nothing feels consistent or cohesive. The better approach realistically is to pick a few basics and just start repeating them every month, like with anything, right, that you might introduce into your life. Local visibility, reviews, follow-up, past customer communications. As simple as that. Not super exciting, but they are reliable. And once the system is working, right, that's when the excitement starts to come. And then you're able to start incorporating those more refined, advanced tactics. But the truth is that most businesses are going to see some pretty extreme enhancements after implementing those simple 4 steps. Here's a simple 30-day plan that you're actually able to use, right? In week 1, simply clean up your Google business profile. You make sure your services, photos, descriptions, hours, and contact information are accurate. Week 2, create 2 useful service pages or posts. Focus on services the customers are actually searching for. In week 3, ask 5 happy customers for reviews. The goal is to keep it simple and personal. In week 4, follow up on old quotes and past customers. You might be really surprised at how many opportunities already exist inside your business. So again, this is not about doing everything. It's about creating movement. You don't need any type of complex analytics, especially in the beginning. You track the basics. Are more people visiting your website? Are more people calling or filling out forms? Are you getting more reviews? Are quotes being sent and followed up on? Are past customers being contacted? And are new customers being booked as a result of our efforts? These numbers help you truly understand what's working versus what isn't. If calls are coming in, but customers aren't booking, the issue may be conversion, right? If nobody is finding you to begin with, the issue might be visibility. If customers are happy, but not referring, the issue may be that you're not asking. And simple tracking helps you focus on what the right problem is so you can address it right away. Now, at this point, some of you might be thinking, okay, I get the need for the system. I have a good understanding on what that system in theory looks like. There's so many tools out there that I could likely play around with to help me accomplish my objective. And you're not wrong. Tools like Claude, ChatGPT, they're actually quite powerful and very capable. You can go in there and say, write me a follow-up message, provide me with a templated review request, draft a monthly check-in email, and it may give you an answer that misses best practices you didn't know to include in your prompt to begin with. However, again, there are some things that these tools are not going to do for you that you're still doing manually, such as remembering when to send it, copying it, pasting, adjusting, and formatting it, personalizing it for each customer, keeping track of who received what, and following up with them again later. And as we've spent a significant amount of time discussing today, this is realistically where most people fall off, not because they can't do it, but because it then becomes another thing on their plate that they need to do. Okay, so the best for last, right? Now that we've talked about the platform, the solution, how AI can help, generally speaking, I want to be a bit more specific in the solution that we're proposing. And this is exactly where Craftify AI fits into the picture. And the reason why we built Craftify is because small businesses, small service-based businesses often have to use too many disconnected tools that don't talk to each other. One tool for design, one for email, one for CRM, one for content, one for analytics, and there's often no clear rhyme or reason connecting them in between. What Craftify does is it brings many of those pieces together: content creation, visual design, email campaigns, contact tracking, campaign ideas, etc., and review related workflows into one. The goal is not to make business owners into marketers. Our goal is not that. The goal is to make the important marketing work that needs to happen easier to do on a consistent basis. And the feature list for anybody on the call includes visual design, a miniature CRM, email marketing, business profiles, service profiles, campaign generation, competitor research, and so on and so forth. The big takeaway really is this for all on the call here today. You don't need to do anything. You don't need a large agency that's going to charge you a exorbitant amount of money per month. You don't need to post every day either. You don't need to become an expert in every single marketing channel that exists out there. Your funnel does not need to be complicated. All you need at this point is a repeatable system that helps people find you, trust you, contact you, and then remember you. That system can be simple, but it has to be consistent. So just a very quick recap. To get to 5 to 10 new customers monthly, the focus should be your system immediately. You want to get found locally. You want to build trust before people contact you. You then want to respond quickly, follow up on quotes, ask for reviews, stay in touch with past customers. And then you want to repeat that process on a monthly basis. None of these steps are really complicated on their own. The power comes from doing them together and doing them consistently. That is what turns marketing from random effort into a growth engine. And so I've talked a lot at everybody on the call here today. I do want to open it up for questions. A good place to start is thinking about your own business, right? Where do you feel the biggest gap right now? Is it getting found, getting reviews, following up on quotes, or simply just not having enough time to do all of this consistently? And so I'm going to pop myself on mute. I'm going to hand it over to Armand, and I'm just going to read some of the questions. I see we have about two, which we'll start with. But Armand, first, anything to add?
No, thank you a lot, Logan. Thanks everyone for joining as well. We wanted to cover all this material. I know it's a lot to take in. We're gonna send a recap to everyone as well in email, including the recording. But no, nothing yet.
Okay, Armand, the first question that I have noted here is, can I actually can I actually send emails directly through Craftify, or is this something that integrates with other tools? Probably the most common question we get asked, but go ahead.
Yeah, so yes, for sure. You can do that. Let me share a screen and um should I let me know if you can see my screen. You see this slide, is that correct?
Yeah, go ahead and
Okay.
share your screen there.
Yeah, so looking at the platform to answer that question, yes, this is a real example of one of our customers who has sent around 25,000 emails. And you can send emails, you can see the stats of it as well.
Super helpful. Thank you. The next question that I have here is, can I create, design, and schedule social media posts inside of the platform? So I guess what the question probably is driving at there is, am I needing to rely on a third-party tool we talked about to do those types of things, or is that something the Craftify can handle internally?
Yeah, so everything related to from ideation, creating the post, designing the post, posting the post, and scheduling, all of that you can do within the platform. So as you can see, the only input to create a post like this with everything that you see here is as simple as this input. Our platform knows about your business, what you do, what is the goal of the business, who's the audience. You don't need to repeat yourself. You don't need to be a marketing expert on anything. The idea is for the business owner to be able to work with this.
Okay.
I see another question here in
Yeah,
the Q&A.
it's a good segue into the next uh, question that we have lined up here. So, uh, what do you mean by free one-on-one business audit? Is it an AI business? So I can actually take this question.
For sure.
When Armand is talking about things like the context of your business, like what services do you provide? What is the unique value proposition of your business? What that free one-on-one audit session is there to address is for us to essentially set up the Craftify account, work with you to assist Craftify in the process of it learning your business so that when you come in here, to do things like generate again an email, a social media post. It's doing things that are tailored specifically to your business. And Armand, I don't know if there's a more technical direction that you want to take that in, but
No, that's definitely it. And the least that you're going to get out of that is basically get a good grasp of how your business is doing and like what are the actual action items you can take on that.
so I think we've already talked about this, but one of the other questions was, does the platform create ads?
Yes. So basically, the list of tools that we have are here. These are the main tools. We do have a strategy and other tools as well. The short answer is yes. You can create ads, and you can also use the templates for the ads. But you can say like, I want a Google ad, Facebook ad, and with simple like inputs, you can generate the ad as well.
So we'll just give it another couple minutes for some more questions, but one that I'll just put forward to you because I'm on these types of demos all day and they come up very frequently. A lot of times people are curious on, the frequency, like they recognize the need for being consistent. How do we manage that? We could just maybe demonstrate it for everybody here. How does that happen?
Yeah, so to clarify the question, you're talking about the frequency of the content that you create and how you can maintain the frequency?
Well, it's important to stay consistent, right? So how
Yeah.
would I do that as a business owner?
Yeah, so basically the way that our users are using our platform and like staying consistent is you can spend 1 hour per week and schedule everything in the content calendar. So we have a content calendar, you can schedule everything here and you will say like for the whole week, this is my plan for blog post, social media, ad updates, and email sending. So um, to stay consistent, you just need to spend an hour a week.
Perfect. The next question that we have is there ad support and or posting for LinkedIn?
Yeah, so we do have posting for LinkedIn as well. As you can see here, we can generate the post, like all of these tools that you see here are specialized for that platform. So when we say LinkedIn, it will generate a post that it is optimized for LinkedIn. So to answer the question on the LinkedIn, yes. For the ad support, what we do because we want to empower the business owner to be able to like run everything themselves. We do monthly or quarterly check-ins with the business owner, and we have sessions for free that we look at your ads. We basically give you a guidance and a hint on what's the next step. And that's something that you get out of the box with our basically with our platform.
And I think it's important to also touch on before we wrap up this question. If you select, let's say, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, each piece of content that it generates essentially is tailored to that platform. And what I mean by that is there are different formatting requirements that hit hard, for lack of a better term, on Instagram as compared to LinkedIn. Right. So Armand, just over the next second, if you want to generate maybe an Instagram and a LinkedIn post side by side, and if you want to talk about also the things that happen in the back end that make this efficient.
Yeah, definitely. There is a lot that goes into it, from hashtag, the way that you write the titles, the keywords that you should use, the best length for the caption. There are a lot of best practices. You don't need to get yourself involved with like AI prompting, the new models. This AI came in, let's learn that, let's learn this. We have a team behind the scenes that tackle all this, and for you, it's just a simple. You just type the intention, and everything is optimized for those platforms.
Thank you. I see we have one question as well. I already use a CRM, and can this be used alongside my current platform, or can it be superimposed into my platform, GHL?
So there are two things that you can do there. Yes, you can definitely you can continue using your CRM if you're using platforms like QuickBooks. We have integrations with many other platforms, including like QuickBooks for accounting purposes. We don't do accounting, but we do have integrations with a lot of other platforms. Yes, you can keep your CRM. You can also import your contacts and continue using our CRM. And if you want to keep your CRM through those integrations, you can still have the automations to gather Google reviews, do all the automations that we have, plus using your current one. No
So in
limitations.
short, if they have an existing CRM, and again, we run into this constantly, but they prefer to do things like generate content, set up these seasonal reminders, two simple examples, they can integrate their existing CRM in this person's question, GHL, into Craftify to set up those same type of sequences without having to import everyone out of GHL into Craftify,
That's
right?
correct. Yes.
Perfect. Thanks for the question. Really good one. Another super common one we run into frequently. Um, where can I find more about your company? I'm intrigued, but I'm a business of one, super small fish in the pond. I'm going to take this one, Armand, and then I'd like you to add into it.
Love the
So
question.
I love it too. If there's one thing that I can just kind of advise you, Craftify was conceptualized for these small fish in the pond, as you say. And what I mean by that is when you're dealing with a Fortune 500 company, these people have teams of hundreds of people that are trying to do what Craftify is making accessible to these small fish, for lack of a better way of putting it. In other words, if you're one person at your business, that's totally fine. It doesn't mean you don't offer comparable services, but it does mean that you have a lot less time to spend and probably a lot less money if we're being realistic to spend on these types of things, right? That's exactly the value proposition of Craftify. Make it accessible for the everyday business owner, bring these things further into reach for them. And I would say if you're looking for more information, you can go ahead and scan the QR code and meet with Armand or myself. Or our website is craftify.ai, which should have plenty of information for you as well. Armand, anything to add to that?
Yeah, I just want to call out as well again. The intention is for businesses who necessarily don't have the budget, money, time, to deal with 10 different tools, or like people who may not know their business best and waste their money and time. Uh, all of this can happen all in one with least amount of time that you need to spend, basically. So it is optimized for you specifically, I would say.
This is a great question. Thank you so much for asking. One question that I did have was, can you talk a little bit more about SEO? I struggle a lot with people finding me organically on Google.
Yeah, so related to SEO, like this is the dashboard that you can see on the inside tab. That this is one of our multiple, like many like customers that were kind enough for us to use their platform for these demos. You can see the result of what they have done with their SEO. This is specifically an SEO report. Uh, Short answer is yes, you can optimize your SEO. You can write blog posts, do keyword research, get an audit on your website, see if everything is looking good. You also have our consultation and support as well as part of our system. And the result is definitely something that you can sense it. Our content and like optimizations are not only impacting this Google search result, but also will result in your website being listed in like ChatGPT and responses you're getting from LLMs as well. We are seeing an increase in traffic of our businesses getting more traffic from ChatGPT and AI tools.
Super helpful. Okay, we'll just give it another minute there for any additional questions to add in. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and just move on to the next slide and move to close this up.
Do you want to share your screen again?
Sure thing. Give me just a second here to do just that. Okay. Perfect. So again, thank you so much to everybody for taking the time to sit with us through this here today. It takes a lot to listen to Armand and I talk for, 45, 50 minutes here. So again, we are offering a free one-on-one business audit and consultation. This is not intended, and I want to emphasize this point, to be a generic sales call. One of the questions that we kind of touched on is this is simply meant to show you how Craftify can benefit your unique business. It's intentional to be built around that. It's to look at your business presence and help you identify where the biggest opportunities are, whether it's the website, whether it's the quality of the content that you're posting, and so on and so forth. We look at everything from, again, the website, Google presence, reviews, follow-up process, and any current marketing activity. Then we can suggest from that point what you need to improve on first and where AI can help. So again, if you're looking for help turning today's ideas into a practical plan for your business, you can book a session using the link or the QR code on the screen there as well. Okay.